Respected viewers and listeners, Assalamu alaikum. In last video, I've showed you cell reference. It's an important topic. I hope you have learned it. Now, I'd like to discuss about house rent. How we can calculate house rent. If your company possesses 1,000 or more than 1,000 employees, how can you calculate all the employees' house rent in different ranges in a one formula? Okay, so let's get started here. I have already taken here a worksheet for saving time in my today's video. You can see here I have already taken a small table here. You know, in Bangladesh there are 20 grades in government sector, and these 20 grades are divided by 4 ranges for house rent calculation. You can see here also these 4 ranges, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the system is 9,700. From 9,700 up to 16,000, the employees are getting house rent 65%, but not less than 5,600. Like this way, from 16,000 up to 35,500, they have been given 60% house rent, not less than 9,600. And from 35,500, they are getting 55%, not less than 10,500. And 35,500 plus up to 78,000, they are getting 50% of their basic, but not less than 19,500. So let's go the calculation. First of all, when we will apply a formula, we must give here a equal sign, then we can go ahead. First of all, we have to take here the formula is if, you know, if. When you will write here if, the syntax will be shown here. Syntax tells us logical test value if true or false. Okay, you can see here attentively. First of all, we have to take your basic rows, the row number 4 and column number C, the basic of Rusho first name. We have to click here. Then we think that, so next we have to think here, if the basic is greater than equal what? This one. You have to start from last range, this one. So comma, then again bracket, and another condition, again also if syntax will be shown here. If this basic is greater than or equal this basic, this range, and if this basic multiplied by this percentage, but less than equal what? Less than equal this minimum range, comma, you have to pay him the government has to pay him this minimum. Okay, otherwise if it is more than minimum range, otherwise this basic multiplied by this percentage. Okay, now you have to closed here 1 2 3 first bracket, opening first bracket, you have to close here now two brackets, 1 2, then comma, one is remaining. Actually it is mentioned here in the last class. I showed you cell reference, how to lock a cell, that is which cell is locked, it is not moving, it can't be moved. So only this basic column and row will move from up to down, but another, this is this tables row, these tables rows are not moved. If it is, if these are moved, the calculation will be incorrect. That's why we have to lock this. How can we lock this? In last class I showed you only this basic, without this basic, except this basic, you have to lock others row. We have to lock here like this, that is cursor we have to keep here behind the row, and from our keyboard we have to press F4 for once. Yes, and both the rows and column is locked now. Which rows? I22. I is where? This I22 means this one, last range. This is 22. You can see here. This 22, you can see here, is locked. Okay. Row is 22. 22. We can see here. Just press 1 or press F4 for once. This is locked. And after locking, you have to keep here comma, comma, then first bracket, because we have to take here a condition, first bracket open, and another condition, that is if, double click, and again this basic row select, this basic row select, and that is if this basic is greater than or equal this range basic, then we have to pay what, this basic multiplied by this percentage. Okay, and locked, instantly locked, press F4. But this percentage is, if this percentage is less than this one, this minimum range, so is less than or equal what, this minimum range, again locked, F4 press, then what will be done? If less than or equal to minimum house rent, then what will be done? You have to comma, you have to give here comma, and next, if this basic multiplied by percentage is less than minimum range, he has to be paid, the employee has to be paid minimum range. Just press F4 for once. Otherwise, again comma, otherwise this basic, click this basic multiplied by this percentage, and instantly press F4 for lock. Okay, and first range, that is this range, is gone. Now how many brackets we have opened here? This one, this two, this three. Now we have to close here only two, 1 2. okay, and comma. Again we have to go to the next range, this range, okay. Again we have to start the condition, no space. In this case, no space. If another condition, start, double click, then basic, this basic row select, is greater than or equal what, this range, this basic, press F4 for lock. Then what will be the function, is greater than or equal, comma, again bracket start, we have to go to another condition, if, double click, then if this basic, this basic is greater than or equal, this basic, this range, we have to be paid what, this basic multiplied by this percentage, 55%, but you have to lock it instantly. Yes, so this, if this basic is greater than or equal this range, this basic, so the employee has to be paid what, this 55% basic, the house rent. But this 55%, this 55%, if it is less than or equal what, this range, minimum range, locked instantly, press F4, comma, he has to be paid this minimum range, again press F4 and comma, otherwise he has to be paid this basic multiplied by this 55%, press F4, okay. Two range has gone. Now you have to close two brackets, because after giving this one bracket, next one and two, these two bracket will be closed, another will be remain here, another will be remaining two, but now instantly you have to close two brackets, first bracket, that is one and two, again comma, two range has already gone, and next range, again you have to write here if the syntax will be shown, double click and select basic, and this basic is greater than or equal what, this range, you have to press F4 for lock, then comma, again condition start with bracket, first bracket, opening first bracket, if, double click, what, if this basic is greater than or equal this range, this basic, what will be the payment of house rent, you have to pay basic multiplied by this percentage, 60%, locked, you have to lock here, comma, no, if it is less than or equal what, this minimum range, lock, comma, you have to pay him this minimum range, lock again and comma, otherwise he has to be paid this basic multiplied by this percentage, lock, again one and two brackets closed, but remaining now three brackets, one, two and three, these three brackets still remaining to close, yeah, again comma, again if, double click, again this range remaining only one range, again basic select, is greater than equal what, this range, lock, what happened, comma, again we have to start condition with bracket. If, double click, then if this basic is greater than or equal this basic, this range, what will be the payment of house rent? Then this basic multiplied by this range 65%, lock, comma, no, if this is less than or equal what, this minimum range, lock, comma, if this basic and percentage multiplied by this percentage is less than this minimum range, then this minimum range will be paid, lock, comma, otherwise this basic multiplied by this percentage will be paid, lock. And now all the ranges are clear. You have to close the bracket. How many brackets? First 1 2, then how many brackets remaining here? Number 1, if bracket, here if bracket 2, here if bracket 3, here if bracket 4, another 4 is remaining. Now 1 2 3 4. Okay, now you have to press enter. The result is come out here. You can see the house rent of Mr. Rusho, whose basic is 69,850. The house rent amount is 34,925 taka, but it is not currency format. We have to now make it currency format. How can we make it currency format? Just click here and click your mouse right button, go to format cell. Here is also format cell. Now currency, and you have to decimal. We don't need decimal, that's why we have to make it 0, and we have to make it here also BDT. Just keep your cursor and give Y B. Yes, B is here also. This BBD, this BDT, you can see here BDT. Yes, now we can click here OK. Yes, BDT what? 34,925. No decimal is allowed. So if basic is 69,850, the house rent is 34,925 according to the government rules. Now you can fill handle it. Just fill handle. You can see all the basic shows us the house rent according to the government rules. I think you realize it, you can get it. Okay, so this is the formula of house rent calculation. So thanks all.